Good morning and welcome to 7 at 7 from the Economic Times podcasts, a daily financial news capsule to get you clued in for the day. It's Wednesday, the 25th of September. Airlines across the world have suspended more flights to Lebanon after Israeli bombardments aimed at militant group Hezbollah have killed 558 people in Lebanon over the last few days, including children. Lebanese officials were cited as saying in global reports. Israel has said that the bombing campaign is necessary to stop close to 12 months of missile and drone attacks from Hezbollah. Among the airlines that have cut flights are Emirates, its sister airline Fly Dubai, Qatar Airways and Air Arabia. Air France and Lufthansa have already cut flights. Remember, the Israeli military carried out airstrikes against the Lebanese Hezbollah militia on Monday in what Lebanese authorities described as the country's deadliest day in decades. Amid the raging violence, which has pushed the Middle East to the brink of an all-out war, Lebanon said that only the US could help to put an end to the fighting, while the United Nations urged all actors involved to prevent Lebanon from becoming another Gaza, global reports said. In a hit to one of the world's largest payment networks, the US Department of Justice filed a lawsuit accusing Visa of violating antitrust law by suppressing competition. The US Justice Department has alleged that Visa has threatened merchants with high fees and paid off potential rivals, Reuters reported. Visa processes more than 60% of debit transactions in the US, bringing it $7 billion each year in fees collected when transactions are routed over its network. The Justice Department said, prosecutors have alleged that the company safeguards that dominance through agreements with card issuers, merchants and competitors, Reuters report said. Turning to India, things are moving at a brisk pace when it comes to the listing frenzy. Swiggy has received the Sebi's approval for its proposed $1.25 billion public issue. The company had in April filed draft papers for the IPO through the confidential filing route. The IPO is expected to raise 3,750 crore rupees in fresh capital, and there will be an offer for sale, component of up to 6,664 crore rupees. Major investors such as Prosus, Swiggy's largest shareholder with a 33% stake, and SoftBank are likely to sell part of their holdings through the OFS. There has been a massive buzz around this one, not least due to pre-IPO investments by celebrities ranging from Madhuri Dixit and Amitabh Bachchan to Rahul Dravid and Rohan Bopanna. Staying on the topic of the IPO boom, the Sebi has also cleared the proposed India listing of South Korean auto giant Hyundai, reported at Rs 25,000 crore or $3 billion, to be the biggest planned IPO in India yet. The company is likely to launch it in October. If successful, the IPO would surpass the current record held by Life Insurance Corporation of India, which raised around $2.45 billion. According to a media report, the upcoming IPO will consist entirely of an offer for sale by Hyundai Motor Company, the promoter and selling shareholder. Once completed, the shares offered will represent 17.5% of the total equity share capital of Hyundai Motor India. Here's a global transport scoop with an Indian twist. ET has learned that Singapore Airlines has nominated its CEO, Goh Choon Fong, as its representative on the board of Air India. Also, PB Balaji, Group CFO at Tata Motors, is joining the airline's board. Remember, Singapore Airlines is Tata's JV partner in Vistara, which will now be subsumed into Air India, also owned by the Tatas. Singapore Airlines will make an additional investment into Air India, which will give it just over 25% stake in the airline. From transport to telecom, Foxconn is evaluating an investment of about $1 billion to set up an assembling unit for smartphone display modules in Tamil Nadu. People aware of the matter said to ET, this would be the first such facility to be set up by the company in India, primarily to supply to Apple for its iPhone. I don't need to tell you, of course, that the iPhone 16 launch has been breaking records for Apple since day one of its launch. By some calculations, Apple's business in India, including manufacturing and sales, has touched 2 trillion rupees. Things aren't looking good for troubled edtech Byju's. A Delaware court has upheld a ruling by a lower court that had said the firm had defaulted on a loan totaling $1.5 billion. What does it mean? Well, now lenders to the edtech firm can demand full repayment, take control of Byju's US entity, Byju's Alpha Inc., and appoint Timothy Pohl, Alpha Inc.'s court-appointed CEO, as its sole director. That's all for today. Thank you very much for tuning into 7 at 7 from the Economic Times podcast.